Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I wish to support the bill, but I will not, in quote, lima, the way Zamzam has limaed. I would want to say that when the father of devolution promoted devolution, the idea was for a devolution of resources and services. Unfortunately, what we are increasingly seeing is devolution of power, devolution of nepotism, devolution of corruption. And what I'd want to encourage a lot of our counties, I'm not saying it affects all counties, but I'd want to encourage our counties that this is a very rare opportunity, especially for counties that have been marginalized for years. It is a time to transform our own counties. Nobody will transform our counties for us. We have just come from a requiem mass for Honorable Phoebe Asio. And what we have seen is a legacy of a life well lived. When you will die, nobody will bury you with the storied buildings that you have bought, with the cars that you have bought. It is what you have done to transform people's lives. So I want to encourage our governors that do work that will transform lives, that years after you are gone, people can say, the way people say about Tomboya airlifts, that actually resulted in the first Black African-American president. Now, that is something we can talk about to date. But nobody cares about what you can build. If you build a mansion, next year somebody will build another one which is better with a better design. Let us live like birds. Madam Speaker, my father was a politician, an elected politician, and people called him a bird. And I used to wonder why. He was called Odhiambo. And I wondered why. And over time, I've understood why. Because my father never amassed wealth, even though he had the opportunity to do so. Because his concern was building a legacy. Unfortunately, he died too young, so he didn't build his legacy. But I am working on building his own legacy, plus my own legacy. And also, one other thing I want to actually encourage our governors is that what I can guarantee you, that even if CDF were to be stopped, the money that goes to CDF is a national government portion. It can never go to the counties. And I want to also inform the governors, and I'm glad that we're having a conference next week. God willing, I'll get an opportunity to speak there. And I want to say that for me, I can say some of the things, legacies I can say, that the 15% that is going to the counties, I am the one who moved for that 15%. So that 15% is going down courtesy of me when I sat in the Constitution, the Select Committee on the Constitution. Our party had wanted 40%, but we didn't manage 40%, and it was going to be left open, and I moved an amendment to bring no less than 15%. But that 15%, if you compare with what MPs are getting, or not MPs, but CDF, what we are oversighting under CDF, 0.4%. Really. There is so much that can be done with the resources that go to the county. There is so much. It is actually something that can transform a whole small shopping center to a city. But our focus and our priorities are just lopsided. And I want, therefore, to encourage our governors, stop focusing on the wrong thing, which is fighting NGCDF, that is helping a lot of poor Kenyans. My constituency is a rural constituency. And Madam Speaker, I can attest to the fact that for the longest, all I knew is that rural constituencies, the structures were matope, mud walled, or the improved ones were mabati structures. But now go to almost virtually every constituency. Even where it is not yet completed or done, you will see people singling out one or two. that is not yet done. But they will single one or two. But out of that, maybe 100 of them will be permanent structures that have been constructed by NGCDF. Finally, Madam Speaker, I want to say that NGCDF is something good that has come out of Africa. It is a development model that must be emulated in every single part of Africa. Every time Africa does something good, we try to put a reverse gear so that Africa can always wallow in poverty, always going to the West with balls to beg. Where we have reached as a continent, we have no excuse complaining about colonization. By the time I was born, colonialism had ended. Why are we crying many, many years later? Even if we are poor and even if we are colonized, can't we change our story? Can we be crying all our lives? And NGCDF as a model is enabling us to change that story. So we have no reason to attack NGCDF. I'm not telling him off. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I know Honorable Kaluma, my neighbor in Homa Bay, wants me to tell off our advocate. But it is his right to take the matter to court. And it is also our right and duty to let him know that in constituencies like mine that have been marginalized for years, that have never seen structures for years, have been transformed because of the structures that have been built. Go to Aondo TTI in my constituency. Within a year, it was a small center where my brother TJ Kajwang's home is. It's a rural area. Suddenly, it has become a commercial center within 1 year because of a TTI. We are hopefully opening a KMTC, 100% funded by NGCDF in this little town. And it is going to be a game changer. So those who really, I know it's a bit of a misunderstanding about NGCDF, but I hope we can talk to each other, persuade each other, and move together. I do support.
Thank you. Last, Honorable Wangare, member for Gilgil.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. And I'll just start from where my minority whip has stopped and say that I actually don't think it's a misunderstanding. I think it's a deliberate effort to actually curtail the few projects that are actually visible on the ground and in the grassroots that are sponsored through NGCDF and also through GAF, Madam Speaker, because